So, hey guys, uh, a little while back, SP Little Knight was released. So today we're going to try to find some way to play SP Little Knight. Also, what is this royal? Oh, Masterpiece Discardius. That's an old one. But yeah. So SP, what can we do with this? That is the question here. So, if we go over the effect of SP Little Knight, if this card is link summoned using a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster as material, you can target one card on the field or in either graveyard, banish it. Also, your opponent cannot attack directly this turn. Or not your opponent. You cannot, or your monsters cannot attack directly this turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can target two face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control, banish both until then phase. You can only use each effective SP Little Knight once per turn. And real quick, I think I want to bring out Sky. Let's see what, or not this guy. Oh, Dark Arm. And let's see how the wording on this works. Is this any different? No, it's about the same. I believe there was some card. Actually, I think it was Big Eye. Yeah, not Dark Arm. Dark Arm is fine. You cannot attack with Big Eye first, right? This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. So, with the wording of Big Eye like this card cannot activate the turn this effect is activated, meaning if you go like Big Eye, attack first, then try to activate its effect afterwards. So let's assume our opponent has like maybe unknown back row set and we have Big Eye and then like Jizo. Let's assume we can run over Jishao, right? But then Baron has no negate, we can't take the Baron. Or yeah, something like that, right? Or maybe they use both effects and there's a potential blackout there, so if we just make Big Eye first, that would kind of play around it. If we remove Shishao and then just take the Baron and then remove blackout, that might be ideal. Like that kind of thing, potentially as well, right? But like with SP Little Knight, we might be able to run over something first, right? So the first thing that's really good about SP over here is it's extremely generic, and it has a decent form of removal, being banish a card when it is link summoned. And you can only use each effect once per turn. So one of the questions I have here, very simply, is why is this card threatening at all with Sprite Elf? This card has like just hard once per turns. Like what does Sprite Elf do? Like I've seen a lot of BCG players freak out about like, oh no, you get Sprite Elf and SP Little Knight together, and I'm staring here blankly like, yeah, and so you don't get this effect because this is only on Link Summon, right? And then we have this effect here when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect. You can target two face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control, banish both until the end phase. So the only way this like kind of comes up is maybe if your opponent's playing like multiple SP and they just keep summoning back IP. But like, who would do that? You would have probably won the game by resolving like your SP Little Knight along with your like other interruptions or whatever else you have, like your hand traps, etc., right? And Sprite Elf doesn't do anything with SP Little Knight like the first time, so this really does nothing. Because what would you even bring back that has any relation to SP Little Knight? There's only like bringing back IP, which is not that much different from just having IP already. Yeah, this does pretty much just nothing, as far as I can tell, unless you're making multiple SP, in which case maybe it matters, but your opponent's like outing your SP without outing your Sprite Elf. There's also that. Or you're also linking off like the SPs into something else, and you still haven't won the game. So in general, that's just a big question mark for me, dog. But yeah. if we were to just compare this card to DPE, which I've seen it compared to, I don't know about that, Chief. So this does kind of come back every turn, but it doesn't like replace necessarily everything because there are different reasons to still play these older cards, despite this being like kinda more generic-ish. So for SP Little Knight, uh, I'm pretty sure this is probably the reason why Link Rebo was banned, but let's say we do want to remove a piece of back row, right? So let's say there is a Macrocosmos on field. If I were to make Nightmare Phoenix, that only requires 2 monsters to make if I want to do like some Link 2 and then go Little Knight. Unless my opponent has like, for example, Ash Blossom and I have Ita, the Fire Charmer. There is no way for me to use 2 monsters to make SP Little Knight, right? Typically then you would have to go Link 2 and then 3. And even then, if we want to make a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or like one of these 3 first, and then link those off for SP, um, a Fusion requires you to use at least 2 monsters as material, right? So then after that, we need to link off something with SP Lone Knight, 3 monsters, Synchro, 3 monsters, Xyz, uh, 3 monsters, right? Essentially, we're thinking in the terms of like about 3 cards. Even with Pearly, you need like a Pearly spell in hand or graveyard or something like that, right? So that's kind of 1-2 ish. Like Zodiac is kind of also like 1 card ish, like you know, with how it works. But in general, SP Little Knight is the kind of card that requires 3 monsters, unless I guess you're playing Snake Eye, in which case you would make Link Rebo and then make SP Little Knight, which yeah, I think that this is why Link Rebo got banned, which is just a little bit silly. So, okay, I guess. They should just put a link to 2 or higher monsters material, I guess, for the trigger on this effect. So, yeah. Unnecessarily, we have to kind of murder Link Rebo because of the sins of Little Knight. But okay. If we have DPE, the effect on DPE is actually much stronger than Little Knight. So, moving on to the second effect here. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control. Banish both until the end phase. So this effect, if your opponent does something, you get to banish. But SP Little Knight, of course, is not a very big monster, so it'd be pretty easy to remove SP Little Knight from the field. So the effect that you're most worried about is probably the first one, because this one isn't something you can play around. Like, for example, with Kashtira, if you do the Shangri-Ira combo, where you trigger Shangri-Ira and summon Fenrir from your hand, right? To make a Rysart Fenrir Shangri-Ira pass. That combo is very vulnerable to like cash cards. So if you summon in defense with your Shangri-Ira, then things can get pretty dicey for you. And you can just do like effect to special, or not effect, just special summon any cash. And since Shangri-Ira activated, you'd make a Rysart attack into Ira, and then make Zeus wipe the whole field, right? So same energy with like SP Little Knight here after it's made. So if it's made on turn 1, you don't get this really good effect, so you would have to make it with IP, right? So this effect by itself, not that great, right? If we compare this to DPE, DPE actually has several qualities that make it like better than SP Little Knight, and of course somewhat worse. But if we disregard the garnets, right, that you have to play in main deck for DPE, DPE actually has the much superior effect, right? You can destroy both 1 card you control and 1 card on the field. So DPE can always just destroy itself, just like how Little Knight can always banish itself. But with DPE, it's essentially any 2 effect monsters. We can make Verte and then send Fusion Destiny to make DPE. You also get some bodies next turn, I guess, potentially. So that's a small plus. But in general, we make DP, we're chilling. You make SP Little Knight, and your opponent like could still play, right? If assuming we just pass on DP versus pass on SP Little Knight. If you, however, do like IP into Little Knight, it gets a little bit better. You have 2 points of interaction, but over the course of like the entirety of a game, I think DP's effect is much stronger, being able to generically destroy like non-targeting any card. Although I guess if we look at this, yeah, this targets and this also targets. So targeting, not that bad, but TP, non-target destroy, every single turn also comes back every single turn, so this is incredibly hard to out. So just, if we were to compare the two, I'd say DP is going to be the better card here out of the two. Generally though, like, they're pretty different cards. The only thing that they have kind of similar is that they both keep coming back. DP also not just being monster removal and being just generic removal makes it so much better, right? SP Lil Knight as well does have like this annoying element to it, but yeah, it in general is not going to probably be that game changing. One of the annoying things that might come out with SP Lil Knight is if you let your opponent keep an SP Lil Knight, Imperm and the like doesn't really work super well depending on what your opponent's playing, right? So if just for example, it doesn't matter if it's trigger or ignition, if I activate a card effect and you try to imperm it, I can always SP Little Knight to banish whatever card is activating its effect alongside Little Knight and have them come back later. I guess the issue is that I won't be able to lethal that turn, I think, right? Oh wait, no, that's just the first effect. You can still lethal. Yeah. Doesn't super matter, I guess, right? So, let's see. What has an effect that you really have to negate? So, yeah, let's say we do, uh, I don't know how we got this end board, but let's say we do, normal summon Aluber, okay? And we're trying to grab Branded Fusion. You have Imperm. You know we don't have Branded Fusion because we would have used it last turn. So you want to Imperm this, but you can't because SP Lil Knight, right? So can't Imperm here. If you do, I chain SP Lil Knight and that's it, right? GG. Okay, so when I Branded Fusion and Branded Fusion resolves and I summon Lubellion, now you can't really imperm either, because if you imperm, I will simply banish with SP Lil Knight, and then just make Mirror Jade anyways. So that's also GG. So I couldn't think of a super good example that's come up because I haven't really played with SP that much yet. But yeah, this card is a little bit versatile, but deceptively, this is essentially a Link 3 monster and not a Link 2 monster, which makes it still not like the best card, but it will definitely become a staple in most people's decks. It doesn't like magically just replace everything. Like even with Nightmare Unicorn, for example, Unicorn you might consider worse as an IP target because you do require a discard for it, but some decks need ways to actually discard cards and get them out of the hand, and Nightmare Unicorn being able to do that is, in this case, actually beneficial. So notably with like Orchest, if we were playing Orchest, if we have like our Orchest Nightmares stuck in hand, our Horrors stuck in hand, Unicorn helps with this actually, right? So if we're doing our Link Climb with like whatever variant of Orcus we're playing, we make like Unicorn, and then our opponent, even if they negate Unicorn effect, if we sent like Harporer, we can still easily access code from here, and that's just in general helpful. And we can set up stuff and things, right? So maybe we do something like Harporer, summon Girsu effect, sending World Wand, then we go link off whatever we summon back with World Wand into Galatea, then we do some recycling of our Orcus cards, and we can over here probably grab Babel, I guess, and then make Dingirsu effect to either send to set up lethal, and then make like access code on top of this to like banish another card, right? So here we might have Galatea and Unicorn, which are both dark, so we'd probably have to pick one of those guys, and that's an idea. SP Little Knight is dark though, so you would be able to make this with IP and Orchest, which is neat, I guess. There's also, I guess, the fact that this is a warrior, and yeah, that's a bit interesting. I don't really think this effect is as good as the first effect to an extent, but if you do want to just make SP Little Knight for this effect, I guess it would require 2-effect monsters to make. Just any 2-effect monsters. But yeah, overall just this effect is not like the craziest thing in the world. When your opponent activates any card or effect, target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including the monster you control, banish both until the end phase. So, just for example, what we could do against like an SP Little Knight, well, not so much right now because we only have one Fenrir, but if we special summon Fenrir, activating Fenrir, then if you chain SP Little Knight, I can easily add Unicorn, Rep Birth, special summon back Fenrir, and then just dismantle your board a bit. And then possibly a little bit more after that. But yeah. If we were trying to find some kind of strategy that uses SP Little Knight really well, I can't super imagine it right now, but one idea that I have in general is if we do have like IP and we do link climb with it, we can link climb into Promethean here, and then uh, this is just a generic thing, right? So if we have any 3 effect monsters, essentially what we can do is, well, of course we need some fire for Promethean Princess first, but we go IP, Promethean Princess. We can then bring back well, actually, no, we don't. Yeah, for Promethean Princess, right? Do we? No, wait, we do. Right, so we would bring back like a fire monster, and then I don't know how IP actually got into the graveyard if you think about it. This only works if we used fire monsters to make IP, but if we do use fire monsters to make IP, I guess, here with Promethean Princess, we can summon back a fire monster. But then at this point, we can't even make Sprite Elf. So, yeah, that just doesn't work. So instead here, we would have Ambloil and then IP in the graveyard, so this only works if you're playing Snake Eye, I guess, with the IP into Promethean. Otherwise, you would need to make IP and some Fire Link 2 in the same turn. And then you'd be able to do Sprite Elf to bring back IP next turn to summon SP Lil Knight. If you need to, I guess you can always do like Sprite Elf plus IP to make your copy of SP. So that could kind of maybe work, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that impressive. If we wanted to play around just SP Lil Knight in general, how about we find a card that can really use this effect? So the second effect. So if we really think about this, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control, bash both until the end phase. So what's interesting about this is that this doesn't special summon back the monsters, like for example a Zealantis. So this doesn't trigger on summon effects. But what we could do, I guess, is We could technically try to maybe forcibly banish Necrophase with SP Lil Knight to run our opponent out of cards, but that's honestly not that efficient. You're better off trying to loop with Kashtira, so not super good usage here. And also, SP Little Knight has a small downside. It is a very small monster, so we have 1.6k attack here. So if we were to simply have, let's say, I believe Moyi has a higher attack stat. Oh. Okay, so if we look at Moyi, Moyi is 1.7k, and Taya is 1.8k. So Taya being Ignition. So assuming we control no cards right now, if we activate Emergence, and then we were to Taya a normal summon, we can just attack over SP Little Knight, and then just Taya banish Emergence, and then we're fine, right? And also, if we're playing Sword Soul, there is the idea of using Incredible Ecclesia. So what we can do with Incredible Ecclesia here is distributes for cost, so you should have nothing on your field. So that's epic. If we were to use this effect as well, so if we were to open either essentially Taya or Ecclesia, we can play around SP Little Knight's specifically second effect. If we're worried about the first effect, nothing we can really do about that. But just in general, that is not too threatening. If we account for both, it becomes a little bit harder to deal with, though. But I mean, in general, even if we do something like an evenly matched or Raigeki, our opponent can kind of maintain some more cards. That part of this effect could be arguably a little bit strong. But this actually does open up a whole new line of play, actually. So if, let's say we have IP and some other monster on our board, and our opponent is trying to go to battle with no cards on field, then potentially they're trying to evenly match you. So if you don't make SP Little Knight immediately, you're just going to lose the ability to make anything with the IP anyways. So then you wouldn't be able to SP, but if you made SP before your opponent evenlies you, then you can banish your cards, right? To preserve them kind of for the next turn. So for like turn 3, right? So there is this idea as well to play around SP. So that becomes a bit of Giga Brain, essentially, to at least play around SP's first effect here. So this is on Link Summon of SP, right? So if we force IP, make SP, then we don't have to worry about this effect, and it's just this one. And then that goes, I guess I should have mentioned that first, kind of a while ago, but that goes back into the idea of just special summoning Fenrir, attacking over SP, and then we can just activate our copy of Fenrir or whatever and try to combo from there, or whatever. Like, could be normal summon Taya, and going from there as well, and we just would have to play around this, right? But, yeah. I guess for the time being, let's find some decks that I've played. So, what decks do we have? Should we go with recent ones? I guess why not? So let's take a look at what decks I have, and let's go for something less common to see what SP does for the deck, I guess. If we go for Phantom Knights, I think we can definitely make SP. Is there a reason I would link off one of my monsters? Is there anything I would want to link off for SP? No. No, there is not. What is interesting, I guess, about SP is we could technically use the effect of SP to trigger a graveyard effect, interestingly enough, right? So that's the idea of like Green Ninja. Yeah. Okay. So if we look at, okay, let's try Mekk-Knights with SP. So this is just your standard, like, run-of-the-mill deck, I suppose. So if we go 3 Girsu, let's go, how many Indigo Eclipse? I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. Let's go 3 Purple Nightfall, and then we'll go in Yellow Star as a one of. And actually, maybe we want 2 Indigo Eclipse, so I guess it kind of depends. Red Moon honestly isn't that bad. And we want 2 copies of Morning Star, one of Abram, yep, and then 3 of Memory, one of Key, Scars, you can play it or not, 3 of Secrets, and then at least 1 of Whisper. And then we'll want some hand traps as well. Imperm is super good. Droplet is also not bad, so we'll just do no copies of Droplet actually. Dark Ruler no more might be better. Yeah, okay. Seems good to me. Right, yes. Then, because we want to probably play going first, we'll throw in Ibli, which is probably fine, right? And then for Ibli, we'll need Lingaribo. Lingaribo. Oh, well, that doesn't exactly make us a little knight. We do Link Spider actually as well. Never thought about this, but Link Spider allows us to also make SP with 2 cards. I don't know if that will really come up that often, but yeah. Almirage is also a Link one, so for the same kind of like issues. Well, this has the same kind of issues as like the Link Grebo stuff. For going like second, it's kind of annoying, but whatever, I guess. Okay, moving on. We still need some World Legacy cards. So we need specifically World Armor, and then aside from Scars, we need World Legacy Succession. Then we'll do like Ash Blossom Called By, I guess, because those are decent as well. Ash Blossom Called By. And deck is starting to look a little bit better. And we need to go here actually. Grabbing Lib. I think we play 2, probably, right? And we have IP, SP. And now we can just throw in some generic cards as well. So Galatea is fine as a one of. So we can do this. In Girsu, we want Zeus. So idea is if we ever have Girsu on the board with any other effect monster, we will be able to make Galatea and then XYZ summon on top of that Dingirsu. And that is probably good, you know? We can maybe try making Zeus on top of Dingirsu later as well. And then after this, I want to do probably Trizbana, I guess? Or Zeroboros. Zeroboros, yeah. So Zeroboros is pretty easy to trigger, so seems worthwhile to do. And I feel like we're maybe missing some other cards. I can't super think of it right now. If we were to have an extender and we get Nib though, Link Spider for SP is kind of an idea. You know, if we were able to summon something else. That is not the worst thing in the world, I guess, right? And actually, yeah, we might have to play Link Spider for the Girsu token, depending on like how things go. It's not that bad, right? Yeah. And then one last card. Am I forgetting something important here? I think we have pretty much everything we need. Normally, I think we might run like a unicorn or something, but here I guess we run like Nightmare Phoenix, which is fine. We don't need the unicorn because uh, we don't have anything in our hand that we particularly want to discard, but in general, we probably will have something in hand to discard, and it doesn't super matter. But if we're making unicorn with SP, we have 2 copies of Lib to do this with, so seems fine. Still have some room to mess around with, so maybe we can throw in another Indigo, and then we'll throw in like 3 Kaijus. So for this, I'll go Radiant, I suppose. For no particular reason, I think Godarla is actually better because it has a better level, or actually Gamma-Seal is probably optimal. So I guess we will go Gamma-Seal. I think Gamma-Seal is like 2 M's, right? That's like Gamma-Seal? Or what? Did I throw in? Oh my god. Is it 1 M? It, not even? Okay. How does one spell Gamma-Seal? Gamma-Seal. Okay. Whatever, man. So let's look for a going first hand specifically. So here we get locked by World Legacy's memory, so it's not gonna come up. Let's try to find a bit of a better hand. So we're looking for Yursu Orcus Mekk-Knight plus either blue or purple. That or we have like Ibli with blue or purple. And here works, I guess. This hand kind of mad trash though. Yeah, not a super big fan of Ibli here, but okay. Let's say we normal summon our copy of Girsu, summon the token. Do we have any room to make IP? I think we do, right? So, effect of Girsu summon token, then we link off for a lib, and we will send our copy of World Legacy World Armor. So then after this, we're going to oh yeah, we're going to lib to summon it back with succession. And then here we can search a card. So maybe we go with like World Legacy Secret. Maybe we go with World Legacy Key. Depends exactly what we'll go, you know? It depends. But either way, we're going to then want to use the effect of Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall. And then we're going to use effect of Purple Nightfall to summon, to add Blue Sky, summon Blue Sky. Then we're going to probably want to add Indigo Eclipse. If we wanted to go Mekk-Knight Morning Star, I guess that's when we would send Indigo. And in that case, we might be using Key or something. But not to overthink it that much because this isn't the line that would make it IP. Instead, we would link off our copy of blue and our copy of Old Legacy World Armor, and that leaves us with IP. So from here, we could make then Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse gets special summoned, I guess. We just do that. But from here, we could just pass, and we have like very strong combo here, IP Lib. So if Lib is Link summoned and sent to the graveyard as Link material, it has the effect to non-target shuffle a card, right, on the field into the deck. And we also have IP, which we can then use to make SP Little Knight. So if we just take into account just these guys, the amount of interruptions we have, this is a 2-card combo by the way, what we can do is we can special summon SP Little Knight. SP will trigger the effect to banish a card. Then we have the banish 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control. So this effect has 2 different usages. So the first one is actually going to be to banish our own cards. So if we do that, That allows us to use the indigo in our hand more effectively. And also worth mentioning is that we still have uh wait, do we have World Legacy Secret? Actually, we didn't get to search World Legacy Secret, did we? Because we searched. No, wait, we did, because we searched it off of World Armor, right? So this is what we would have. And then next turn, purple comes back as well. So yeah, we have more stuff we can do on the following turn, like a lot more. But in general, what we can do is World Legacy Secret to bring back our copy of blue that will be in the graveyard, always, always. And then we have our indigo on the field. So indigo, if our opponent misplays it really bad, they would summon something into the indigo zone, and then we just simply flip over World Legacy Secret. That's one negate, but if our opponent doesn't do that, Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse can move itself to a different zone, and that is one negate, and then we can use World Legacy Secret to special summon back Blue Sky into whatever zone our opponent is trying to activate an effect. So yeah, that is two additional like negates, so that's like 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. So that's 5 pieces of interaction. If we just had Unicorn before, this would have been 4. That is the difference, I suppose, which is not a super big deal. So here we would get follow-up with purple being able to add blue, or being able to add potentially a Girsu, depending on how we play it exactly. But yeah, that line seems to be pretty good. I don't know if we can actually do anything with like Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star or not. Well, I guess we can add Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall back with whatchamacallit, if I can find it. Mekk-Knight. Oh, not Mekk-Knight. World Legacy Key. Then there might have been some line with that, but Morningstar doesn't particularly add anything of value, I don't think. Does it? Can we still link off to make IP even? No, because this is a link monster. Yeah. So, I mean, it's essentially one additional piece of interaction here. This effect is like on the same timing as Unicorn, and then we also get this effect. So, it's like 4 to 5 interruptions still, more or less the same as before. So, my opinion is not like super strong on this. But of course, since we just have an IP, if our opponent like normal summons and then just runs over our IP, we just lose 2 interruptions already, right? And then we're left with just our World Legacy Secret plus our Indigo Eclipse. And yeah, that doesn't exactly feel great. There is also like the idea of, instead of going into our copy of SP, if we have Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall in the graveyard ideally, what we can do instead is to make Zero Boros and then trigger it by summoning Purple Nightfall, and then we go chain 1, Zero Boros, chain 2, Purple Nightfall, and then we can add a Girsu and a Blue Sky on the next 2 turns, right? So we search those 2 cards and we can play pretty well, and we have a Zero Boros now on our field as well. Gotta be a little bit careful about accidentally triggering Zero Boros still, because it is still possible for a Link deck to trigger Zero Boros after it's summoned, so gotta be a little bit careful about that, but yeah. In general, seems fine. It doesn't really, like, break any decks specifically that I can think of. Card seems to be decent, but not like completely giga broken. Well, compared to something like a Hulk, it is not simply 1 to 2 negates if you think about Aurorodon existing. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And if there's something I missed or some deck that really abuses SP that I kind of overlooked, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.